Get those reactions ready. The show is about to begin.
Yeah.
Jack, you watch the game? I mean, didn't it suck? It sucked.
Today is April 4th, 2023, and tonight was Game 2 of a 3-game set between the Yankees and the Philadelphia Phillies. The Yankees sent Domingo German to the mound for the first time this season, while the Phillies were fighting to avoid an 0-5 start. My recap and your reactions coming up next. This is NYY Recaps.
Welcome.
Just when they thought I was out, they pull me back in.
If you've ever thought, why is my wireless bill so high? Then let me tell you about Mint Mobile, who I'm partnering with for today's video. You might already know Mint Mobile if you've seen those funny ads from Ryan Reynolds, who's also an owner of the company. But let me quickly tell you how awesome their service is. Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for as low as $15 per month, and you don't have to sacrifice any coverage, speed, or data. They're building on the nation's largest 5G network. They keep costs low because they sell direct to you online and cut out the retail stores and salespeople. All Mint Mobile plans include unlimited nationwide talk and text, plus lightning-fast 5G and free mobile hotspot. Why should you pay more for access to the same network? Be like Ryan Reynolds and use Mint Mobile. Click the link in my description to get started today. Mint Mobile, for your next call to the bullpen. Well, that is not what you want. Welcome back, everybody. 2 series into the season, and now 2 rubber matches. The next one coming at you tomorrow. And look, I don't blame the people who are not watching this recap or not listening to the words that I'm speaking right now, because when I look at the comments, it's pretty clear that only the diehards of the diehards want to relive this experience. Perhaps one of the most forgettable games I've ever watched, quite frankly. I don't know if you can win a Major League game with Hicks, Donaldson, and IKF in the same lineup. This seemed like a punt lineup to me. I'm looking at the box score right now, and you had Donaldson, Hicks, IKF, and Higashioka back to back, and not a hit between them. That's not good. So on one hand, yeah, you had this punt lineup in the 5th game of the season, but on the plus side, tonight's game was on Amazon Prime, so a lot of people couldn't watch it. So it's the only plus. You couldn't watch it. It wasn't on your local station. I don't like it just because, not a lot of bars and restaurants are going to have Amazon Prime running. Baseball's trying to grow the game, but this season you got to have cable or satellite, Amazon Prime, Peacock, Apple TV, who knows what else. Forget about the apps. You should be able to turn on the TV and watch the game, even a game that was this boring, to be quite honest. I'm very fortunate to have fast internet because I do this podcast streaming thing, but a lot of people have surprisingly slow internet, and there's nothing they can do to make it better. I suspect a lot of you tonight had to reset your router a couple of times to watch this game, although, judging by how the game was going, it wouldn't surprise me if after the first time you just changed to something else. So, also, sorry to go all Peter Griffin on you, but you know what really grinds my gears? When a player gets a couple of hits in a game, or has a good game, hits a home run, something like that, and then they get 2 days off in a row to immediately cool them off and, mess up their timing. That's what happened to Oswaldo Cabrera tonight. 2 hits on Sunday, out of the lineup on Monday, out of the lineup on Tuesday. To me, that's just poor management. Look, I don't even know why you continue to try and run Aaron Hicks out there or Isaiah Kiner-Falefa in center field. Come on, give me a break. It's too early in the season for that garbage. That's supposed to be for emergencies. Play your best guys until they get tired. The best players should play. And then mix in some guys around the off days so that way somebody can get 2 days off in a row. That's the way most teams do it these days. But there's no reason to punt your lineup this early in the season. Just no way. Yankees play tomorrow afternoon, and another quick announcement. I'm scheduled to interview former Yankee Todd Frazier before tomorrow's game, and I'll air that as part of the recap after the game. He's got a new podcast called Foul Territory. I'm going to talk to him about that. If you have any questions that you'd like me to ask him, go ahead and drop them in the chat or in the comments, and I'll make sure to add them to my list. So, yeah, we got the debut of Domingo German tonight, and it was one of those all-or-nothing kind of nights for him. A lot of swings and misses, but he also gave up some home runs. Kyle Schwarber hit an absolute bomb, a scud missile, to lead off, or actually it was the second batter of the first inning.
From there on out, things just got worse.
Brandon Marsh took him way deep to lead off the third inning. And I'm sorry, you just can't give up a 438-foot home run to Brandon Marsh, who looks like he's been living behind a Motel 6 for 2 years. Come on. He did have the swing and miss stuff working, though. 8 strikeouts, no walks, just a couple of meatballs. Speaking of meatballs, the Jonas Brothers stopped by the Amazon Prime booth tonight to provide what I would call the worst play-by-play in the history of organized sports. Just horrendous. Tonight was the first time I can think of this year that you really felt the speediness of the pitch clock. At 8:06, I looked up at the clock. We were 59 minutes into the game, and we were half over. It was the 5th inning. Top 5, Yankees had a chance at a double play to end the inning, but Volpe tried to field the ball while stepping on the bag and kind of bobbled it, which cost the Yankees a chance at turning 2. Next batter singled. That knocked German out of the game with 2 outs in the 5th inning. Overall, not a terrible start. It was a number 5 starter kind of start. Kept us in the game for a while, made a couple of mistakes, but ultimately just okay. Final line, 4 2/3 innings. 4 hits, 4 runs, no walks, 8 strikeouts. On the Volpe thing, I've seen a few people complain about his defense tonight. He did not have a great night on defense. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. But you also have to realize that, he's a kid. He's a rookie. He's going to have some growing pains. He's probably going to make 20 or so errors this year, you'd imagine. Just get used to it. Just deal with it. Because he's, by all accounts, going to be an elite player, and he's going to get better over time. You just have to deal with the mistakes now so that he can learn from them in the future. That's the good thing about mistakes, is it gives you an opportunity to learn. A couple of those runs were inherited from Domingo German. Mike King came in to face Trey Turner and served up a base hit to make it 3-0. Look, Mike King just didn't have it at all tonight. We have not seen much out of him since he's come back. Gave up 4 hits in, an inning and a third. 1 strikeout. His ERA is 6 on the season. It's not what you want. Aaron Hicks also didn't look good.
Don't fail me again.
He struck out in the 5th inning and got loudly booed. On a night like tonight, where the Yankees were behind and looked kind of flat all night, Hicks was obviously the natural outlet for the fans' discontent, shall we say. Yeah, but we've seen guys have this kind of downward spiral before. Once New York gets in your head, it's over. It's over. Joey Gallo last year. Hell, Aaron Hicks last year. It's only a matter of time before the Yankees eat that contract and send him packing. I don't blame them for not wanting to just cut bait and pay the money for him to go play golf, but sometimes you got to live up to your mistakes, and that was a mistake. Cashman makes some mistakes. The Donaldson IKF trade was a mistake. The Frankie Montas trade, look, I hear people say they had to make it, and I thought at the time they had to make it. Unfortunately, they knew he was injured, and they still made it. If you know he's injured, you don't make the deal. I'm sorry. So, the Cashman moves continue to come back and bite us. DJ homered with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th. First home run since August, so at least DJ is back. Nice piece of hitting by Giancarlo to pick up a base hit in the 9th. That's something Giancarlo will do. When you need base runners, he'll take the open right-hand side of the field and just, slap the ball through the right side. His slaps are about 115 miles an hour off the bat. But that brought Donaldson to the plate as the tying run. And what do you know? He popped up to end the game. Phillies win 4-1.
Mission failed. We'll get him next time.
Rolly says trash Donaldson, Hicks, IKF, and Higgy. Back to back to back to back, and they expected to win. Why is Waldo not playing. Appreciate the dono. I agree with you. Waldo should have been in the lineup. You know, he had a couple of hits the other day. He's swinging the bat. Why sit him? Why cool him off? Ashlyn says, Volpe is doing wonderfully.
I wholeheartedly agree.
I agree. You know, I mean, he's not dominating yet, but, you know, this is a big adjustment for him. And, you know, he's picked up some hits. He's had competitive at-bats. He's going to have little things here and there in the field, probably little things here and there at the plate or on the bases. That's just all part of growing up as a baseball player. Douglas Morales says, Brandon Marsh lives in a van down by the river. Jesse Dominguez says, Aaron Hicks is feeling the Joey Gallo vibes at Yankee Stadium. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Dylan Poppin says, free Oswaldo. He deserves it. Aaron L. says, honestly, yes, the lineup was a wash and a punt, but don't know how the Phillies play their outfield. Marsh is legit, and they know how to use Castellanos. Look, they made it to the World Series last year. They're obviously not horrible. I don't see how they put Castellanos in the outfield. I mean, I've seen him play the outfield a number of times, and he's really not good out there. And even on those routine flies tonight, he did not look comfortable. Yankees had a lot of warning track shots tonight. It was a lot of those balls where, you see the ball kind of fly through the top part of your screen, and you see somebody kind of sitting there for a second and watching it, and you're thinking, oh, there we go. That's going for the bleachers. And then it comes up 15 feet short. I don't know if there was a stiff wind blowing in. Didn't seem to affect the Phillies as much, obviously. But it is what it is. Parkson says, Cashman mistakes, Hicks, Donaldson, IKF, Montas, and Efros. Efros, I think, was more of a fluke injury. I mean, Tommy John surgery, that could happen to anybody. But he was a good move at the time because he had thrown the most innings in Major League Baseball of any relief pitcher, I believe, at the time. And when he comes back, the Yankees still will have some control over him. Yankees Judge says, why does Boone punt in the 5th game of the season? I mean, you're preaching to the choir here. James Brand says, Brandon Marsh has the ugliest beard and the most greasy hair I've ever seen.
That is correct.
Frankie Baseball says, R.I.P. to Chris Farley. Chris Farley was a legend. I don't know if you guys like Adam Sandler. He recently got inducted, I think, into like the Kennedy honors, whatever. I don't know. I screwed that whole thing up. But he had a great kind of album performance thing on Netflix a couple of years ago called 100% Fresh. And he did a great tribute song to Chris Farley. If you like Chris Farley or remember any of his movies or even just want to refresh on, Chris Farley memories, I highly suggest watching it. You can also get the single. I don't remember what it's called, but it brought me to tears. It was an amazing performance. You could tell it was like one of his best friends. Samantha T says, I miss Chris Farley. Didn't mean to turn this into a downer. It's not like we were having a barrel of laughs in here anyway. And then Parkson says, why is Hicks still on the team? And then same question about Donaldson. I mean, the only thing I can tell you is money. Because right now, their roster spots could be better served going to some younger players, in my opinion. Will Starr says Hicks needs to shut his trap. Hey, look, you got to put up or shut up. If you're fighting for a job and you're complaining about not starting, I mean, look, I want guys who want to start. Look, I want him to say, I want to be in there. I want to play. But then when you get in there, I mean, you can't look like you're half asleep. I'm sorry. Fans were definitely giving him the business a little bit more. I mean, a lot of people didn't hit, right? Donaldson has gone back to being the Donaldson we all know and remember. He's hitting 133 this season. Hicks and IKF both hitless to begin the season. Higashioka hitting 143 so far. So, I mean, you're not going to win a lot of games with offense like that. I'm sorry. Dylan says, we have control of Efros too. Yeah, I agree. That wasn't a bad move. It is what it is. Pitchers occasionally have Tommy John. It happens more often than you would like it to happen. I mean, you would frankly never want it to happen. They've got these new sleeves that guys can wear when they're throwing on the side now, and that can kind of take some of the pressure off of those side sessions. But, when you're doing an unnatural motion like throwing a baseball, and throwing a baseball is an unnatural motion, you're going to get hurt. There's going to be shoulder problems. There's going to be elbow problems. Frankie's a big fan of Adam Sandler. Me too. Let me do it like Adam Sandler. Me too. Dylan Poppins says Brito is better than both Herman and Schmidt. And I agree. Doug says, do you think Boone is playing Hicks at all because of his comments? I think he's playing Hicks to see if he could get him started. Look, Hicks didn't have a terrible spring, and you figure with the shift kind of, getting changed up, and, he might be able to sneak a couple of balls through the infield. Maybe if you get him a couple of hits, maybe he gets his confidence going. But we've already heard that the Yankees don't believe in confidence. Otherwise, you wouldn't have sat Oswaldo Cabrera. I don't know why they keep playing Hicks, other than money. Personally, I would have cut Aaron Hicks after last season if you couldn't trade him. I have to believe somebody would have traded for him. I mean, you pay half that contract. Somebody would have taken him for $5 million just to fill up a roster spot. But I see a lot of people giving their favorite Chris Farley movies, Beverly Hills Ninja. I personally love Tommy Boy, like the sales scene where he's trying to explain why he's about to blow the sale, and he takes this model car off of the guy's desk and then pretends like the guy's family is in it and then drives it off a cliff and then stomps in it and smashes it and sets it on fire. That was a hilarious scene and one of the greatest acted comedic performances in my entire life. KDM says, where is Oswaldo? He's been MIA for the last couple of days. I don't know. It'd be nice to know where he is. Anybody see him? Brett says, those warning track shots off of Strahm really hurt us. Then they brought in Alvarado, who is disgusting. Yes, lefty, big fastball, 100 miles an hour, just blew guys away. And yeah, he carved through the Yankees' best hitters. Appreciate the dono. KDM says, gotta love the IKF, Higashioka, Donaldson, Hicks, bottom of the lineup. And then, Steven Kanoff says, Billy Madison, bus driver. Longest yard. Was he in the longest yard? I don't remember him being in the longest yard. Trent, how did we miss this one? Trent says, where's Waldo? I love it.
Absolutely. Hey.
All right, guys. This was a tough one to watch. A tough one to sit through.
Game over.
Let's get your final comments. I want to go watch Ted Lasso. Rolando says, fat guy in a little coat. Fat guy in a little coat. Love it. Love it. Nick says, is sidearm a healthier way to throw? I don't know about sidearm, but submarine is definitely a healthier way to throw. I think that with sidearm, if you do it wrong, it puts more strain on your elbow. You really got to keep that front side closed if you're throwing sidearm, because if you open up too much, it just do that. Open up your front shoulder and then stick your arm out like that, and you'll feel like in your elbow, like in the ulnar area, you'll feel pain or at least some tension. But when you're submarine, it's almost like throwing underhand, right? So Katie Ann says, go watch Murder Mystery. I didn't see the first one, so I'm definitely not going to see the second one. Jack Reba says that bottom of the lineup was terrible to watch. How it goes. And Doug gets the final comment of the night. He says, I would love to get a legit left fielder and have Oswaldo play several days per week at different positions. The great Yankee teams all had depth. I do think the Yankees have a couple of pieces that they can maneuver around a lot. Unfortunately, one of them is IKF, and he can't hit for nothing. That guy can't hit for nothing. Hang on.
He can't hit for nothing.
Val, that's for you, baby. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll have Todd Frazier on the show. Until then, have a good one.
Hey, everybody. If you've made it this far, we thank you. If you'd like to support NYY Recaps, please like and subscribe or pay a visit to our Shopify store for some great Yankees merch.
Yes.
If you're watching on YouTube, the link is in the description. But if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, just visit NYYRecaps.shop. If you really want to support NYY Recaps and help keep the show going year after year, join up as a member.
Join us.
It's $5, and members get their names up in lights during each post-game show. We're also on all podcast platforms, Instagram, and Twitch this year. So give us a follow if you use any of those platforms. We're expanding, and we have you to thank for making this such a great community. We'll see you next time.
It is your destiny.
Case closed.
Ball game over.
Most impressive.